go.
That means, but in the meantime,
I think they're on.
All right, thank you guys. So I'm here with Mr. Leo Pareja, everyone. The man, the myth, the legend. All right, so Leo, your parents are immigrants.
I am technically an immigrant. I got here 12 years old.
You're an immigrant, and now you're the CEO.
Quiet!
Now you're the CEO of the largest brokerage in the country.
Correction. I'm the CEO of the largest brokerage on the planet.
On the planet. On the planet. That storyline plays right into the American dream. Right, and the vision of the American dream. Part of the American dream is homeownership. And so my question to you, coming from where you've come from, to be where you are, and to be so involved in the real estate industry, I want to hear your take on, is the American dream of home ownership dead?
So if you look on a chart, we are facing an affordability crisis. But if you look across the globe, and a lot of my perspective is from not only have being raised overseas as actually running a global company. Homeownership is the foundation of a free society. Like it's that paramount. We enjoy some of the highest homeownership rates on the planet. And it's that investment in community that then stimulates the economy, that makes you care and do a neighborhood watch and then invest into your community. There's a statistic that if all of you as real estate practitioners don't know, do you guys know the difference in net worth between a renter and a homeowner? The average renter net worth in America across the board is roughly $4,700, and a homeowner's net worth is almost $400,000. Like, it is binary. It's the single largest forced savings account that exists. We're one of the only countries on the planet that has a 30-year fixed mortgage, period. Most every other countries that behaves like commercial real estate, where you have a balloon, and 2 or 3 of Canada are very close sibling when it comes to real estate finance. Every 3 years, your mortgage has a balloon. So it is foundational to everything we do.
So there's a lot of market crashes in these other countries, right?
Yeah. Well, there's not a lot of transfer of wealth, right? So I'm Latin American, and in South America, you normally inherit a property, and there's 30 and 40% down payments. Like a 96.5% mortgage doesn't exist in most other parts of the world. So I'm an advocate for housing. I've been NAREP's national president. I've spent time lobbying Congress as a citizen, as a representative of a trade organization. And so I think it's our job to educate on the different pathways to homeownership. Like, all the things we take for granted as practitioners, there's just so many misconceptions, right? Like, in these 50 states, in almost every county, there's phenomenal down payment assistance loans where if you're below the median household income, and it's fully forgivable in 10 years. Like, there are so many tools available to our customers that I think I use an analogy all the time that the agent is the Sherpa. And if you've never heard me use it, in today's world with YouTube, we can consume anything we want. Like, if you want to learn anything, just go to Ricky's channel. I'm a big fan. But if you guys wanted to climb any mountain, you could watch every video on the diet, the gear, all the equipment you'll need. But the day you try to climb the Himalayas, I highly suggest you hire that local expert to put all their stuff on their back and actually help you interpret the data. Because as you're going up the hill, they're the ones who are going to say, you know what? That's no big deal. We can keep going. That's just, some clouds. Versus, hey, Ricky, if we don't turn around right now, we're going to die. We're going to die right here. And that's your job to be able to say, hey, that's a structural crack versus that's just settlement crack. Right? It's being able to give them that expert advice and hold their hand.
I hear a lot online. You should rent. You shouldn't buy, you should rent. And renters' net worth is 40 times, 80 times lower than a homeowner. How do you argue that?
So the first thing is when people ask me, when was the best time to buy? I said 1942, right? Like 1959, you don't like that number? 1979,
Yes.
2002, like I can keep going, right? And so as an agent, what I did all the time was sit down with somebody and ask them a couple questions. One is, do you think you're gonna move in the next 10 years out of this area? Because if you look over a 50-year period, Can you buy real estate on the wrong year? Yes, like 2007 was not a good year to buy real estate. And if you waited till 2011, you were still upside down in most markets. Well, by 2017, you could have sold a house you bought in 2007. So, and I was saying this in 2002 and 2003 because I looked historically and it said, we have small cycles and we have big cycles. And they were 1986, 1992, 2001. Like you can go back and see that every time there's been depreciation, either in the micro or the macro, if you would have bet, 10 years gets you out of just about any hole. And so when I was sitting with a buyer, I said, are you moving out of, I grew up in the DC area, the DMV, in the next 10 years? They said, no, I work for the government, my mom lives down the street, my sister's here. I'm going to be in this general vicinity for the next 10 years. I said, if you are going to do that, and you are able to buy, I strongly suggest you do, because it becomes a forced savings account. So last week in Miami, I did a keynote, and the average rent in the US, by the way, has gone up for 25 years straight by a ratio of 5.4%. It's actually outperformed appreciation of 4.25%. And so when you look at what the average blended rent across all types of rental in the United States right now, it's $2,025. And to own, again, I know I'm in New York City, so ignore it. I'm just talking averages because averages affect your local market. It's $280. So when you look at scale across the United States, it's $60 more expensive per month to own than to rent. So again, if the median price point is higher, then the rents are higher, but the averages to rent versus own stay about the same. It's the only self-liquidating asset we have. So you make the same payment you would have to rent, and over 10 years, even if there was zero appreciation, you pay down that mortgage, you have equity you build.
I always say, when the rent goes up, the value is going up. So if you're renting and your rent goes up, you need to be thinking, I just helped this person.
Yeah.
I just helped this person's net worth go up. I'm attributing to this person's net worth that I'm not getting. I want to ask you, and I know we're going to go over just a couple minutes because I've got two more questions. I want to ask you, what is the future of brokerages? Like, what does it look like in 10 years?
That's a great question. And I think in society at scale, it's hard to predict anything past 2 to 5 years. I fundamentally believe the speed at which AI is affecting things, I've seen twice before in my lifetime. One was high-speed internet, followed by the mobile device. And I've been in real estate for 23 years. I know I don't look it, but I have. In 2000, I used to have to drive into the office to look up listings. Like, that's how crazy it was. Like, this whole, like, look it up on the internet, that wasn't a thing. I had to drive into the physical office and sit in front of my computer that logged into a portal that looked like my college lookup system. When we got internet at home, high-speed internet, all of a sudden, what would take me 2 weeks to sell a well-priced listing, I could sell in a week. Right? Think about, because I used to leave voicemails for the listing agent who then left a voicemail on a landline for the seller, and it would take us like a week to schedule showings. And then the mobile device came out in 2004, and I became a menace to society in my car, trying to look stuff up on the internet, and I didn't have to use the map, right? GPS came with it. And we were able to sell a house now. You guys can sell a house in an hour, right? You input a listing from your mobile device, and it syndicates to 400 websites, and you can get digital contracts delivered to you within an hour. I think AI is going to accelerate time even more, and I'll tell you guys a real story. There's an agent of ours named Brandon Schneider in Houston who told me a story in February where he received an email from a consumer who asked ChatGPT the following prompt: who is the most investor-friendly agent in Houston? They did not go to Google, they went to ChatGPT. And GPT said, Brandon Schneider with EXP, here's his email address. The interesting part about that story is, I pay for raise your hand if you're with EXP. Are you guys using Fixer?
Yes.
Okay, so the people whose hands are up, and if you're not using it, shame on you because I paid for it. It's a digital co-pilot that lives inside of your email, and it learns your voice. And so Brandon got an email from this consumer from France on a Saturday morning while he was with his family. The email, the digital co-pilot responded with like 3 paragraphs that were very empathetic, probably more than he or I would be in real life. And it went into his calendar and grabbed the next 3 appointments available this week in Google Meets. and said, hey, I would love to talk to you about your housing needs, and here's the next 2 times I'm available. He looked at it, hit send, because it doesn't auto-send it. You need to approve the writing. They talked 72 hours later, and within 30 days, he was under contract for $300,000 purchase. My point is, I think a lot of people hear AI, and you guys kind of get lost in the agentic workflows of robots. No, this is just speed to lead. Brandon responded faster to the inquiry within like 90 seconds than anybody else did because he had a co-pilot reading his email, creating a response, and answering the question. So I think everything's going to continue to speed up. And again, the cliche that's been overused and is correct is the people who use it will beat the people who don't use it, right? A real conversation I had in 2003 at my real estate office with Dolores was that email was not a fad. And she debated with me that it was. And she's probably no longer in the business.
Right. Leo, you're an immigrant. You founded a tech company and had a pretty nice exit. You were the #1 agent. Did I hear you say you had 250 listings at a time?
I sold close to 4,000 homes in my career.
4,000 homes, okay? You were the #1 agent of, at the time, the #1 brokerage. And now you're the broker, you're the CEO of the #1 brokerage in the world. If you and I died tomorrow, what would be a guiding principle that you wouldn't want to leave behind to the next generation of real estate agents?
And touched it on the earlier panel. Like, I really think that the most beautiful part about this industry is that you're serving human beings for an extremely human need. Real estate, residential real estate stores human beings. Like if you guys look at commercial assets, they have the utility, the cap rate. Like these purely store human beings. And they're all driven, and I think Beth said it, by human condition. We fall in love, we make little people, we need more space, we need less space. Death, divorce, and a couple of promotions along the way are 90%, like nobody wakes up and goes, rates are perfect today, I'm moving.
Right.
No, it's like, honey, we need more.
Something's going on in their life.
And so, if you can always remember that you are guiding people through a very emotional and financially important decision, and put their needs above yours. And that's why I'm so loud about CCP and all these other, like, do right by people, and you will have an amazing career that feeds your family.
Leo Pereira, everyone.